Good day and welcome to the bee yard at Goat's Beard Homestead. My name is Andre. I'm going to do a little tutorial for people in the Willamette Valley and for the Lane County Beekeepers Association on smoking. So today we're going to learn a little bit about smoking bees. I'm going to go over why we smoke, what we smoke, some useful items to have when we're smoking bees, as well as show you actual basic technique for smoking bees, which this should be just very useful for beginning beekeepers. It also, do note that everybody has their own technique and everything that they use for this, but this is just a general sort of tutorial on that. So first, why do we smoke bees? It's pretty simple. You calm the bees. Now, if you know anything about honeybees, you know that the main way that they communicate is through smell and through pheromone. So the smoke doesn't calm the bees necessarily, but basically you make it so they can't communicate. You disable the alarm system before you break into their house. So, basically they cannot tell intruder alert, or whatever. So the smoke helps with that. So that's how it calms them. But in a sort of pragmatic way, it tricks them into thinking that there's a fire. And so in that they go and they gorge on honey. So they're a little bit honey drunk, but also they can't communicate as effectively as they would. Okay, so that's why we smoke bees, so we can go in the hive and they don't get really mad at us. Okay, so what do we use to smoke bees? There's a lot of options here and everybody has their own preference, but it just has to be organic material that burns. Bark, wood chips, straw. You could burn dried herbs like lavender, sage, mint, etc. Anything that's organic material, pine cones, pine needles, dried grass, whatever it is. But my preference is burlap. Burlap, I love it. Burlap bags, cut them into strips, and this is what I use. And this is how we're going to go through our tutorial on smoking, is using burlap, which you can pick up at any coffee roaster or at your Lane County Beekeepers Association meetings. Aside from having a smoker or two, some helpful items that you should have, first of all, is a fire extinguisher. Always have one of these on hand. You don't want to be the asshole that burns down the Willamette Valley because you're smoking your bees. So have one of these on hand. Another thing that you really want to have is you want to have some sort of cork. I really like these ones that have like a wood top on them. They fit perfectly in my smoker. This is to put out your smoker after you've smoked your bees, so to put out the fire inside of there. Other things that you may want to have, and this is a good one, is a torch, specifically an auto turn-on one that clearly is not going to work when I need it to work. But you want to have a torch like this. These are super helpful in general, great to have around, especially when they work. The other thing too is maybe a metal or galvanized bucket. I put sand in this. This is so that you can place your smoker in here. So again, this thing becomes hot. It can totally smoke and burn the valley down. So if you're traveling around in ATVs or just to have it, you can just set this next to a hive. It's just a real helpful thing to have in your kit when you're around smoking bees, specifically as we get into summer months and things really dry out. All right, so let's go over how to light a smoker. A few things is you want to make sure that your smoker is clean, or you pull out any old material. I always pull out what's in there, and again, because I use burlap, I'll pull out the material that I've been burning, and I'll actually roll it up in some new burlap. Now, when you find your burlap, try to find burlap that doesn't have a lot of ink on it or whatever. So I just literally put some old material inside of the burlap. I roll it up, okay? You may want to do this in summer months, in another place where you have concrete flooring or gravel or something like that when the grass gets real bad. See if here we go. So I get that going like that on one end, get it to burn. Okay, get it on fire, blow on it, take a few, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, you want to blow on it, then you just drop it in your smoker. Okay, put it in there, and you want to give it some puffs, and that's going to just really get it going. Get that thing going. Now, the other thing that's very important, I cut my burlap into 6 to 8 inch strips, is you notice that we're starting to get fire coming above here. That's bad. You do not want to go into your beehives with a blowtorch. So take some other burlap, whether it's fresh, usually fresh, and put it on top. And so you'll have cool smoke coming out the top. Okay? So again, give it a few more puffs just to really get it going and really get it smoking. Now the key here is when you smoke your bees is that you do not want to give them a ton of smoke. Do not over smoke them. Pretty much 2 puffs is enough. 1 to 2 puffs in the front entrance, and then under the lid is pretty much going to be enough to get you there. So you want to smoke your bees before you go in, and then you want to give them a little puff on the way out so that they go down in the boxes. You can put the boxes back together without crushing a bunch of your bees. So now that we're lit up, let's go smoke one. Now that you have your smoker lit, it's time to smoke your bees, man. And this is a real simple thing. You do not want to over smoke them. They'll get mad. So again, come down here, give them a puff in the entrance. I have a little top entrance here, so sometimes I'll give a little whiff of smoke to kind of get them off there. I also have these little holes for ventilation, so you could pop smoke in there, but most of us will just lift up the lid and put 1 or 2 puffs in there, and then we'll leave it for a minute. Let them stew. Okay, in general, you know, once you've smoked your bees and you're in the hive, you probably won't need to smoke them again. These bees are super docile. Nectar's flowing a little bit. It's the middle of the day, so a bunch of them aren't home. But if you want to get them off the top of the bars, specifically to close up or to actually work in there, you know, I don't like to push the smoke down in there. I like to just give a whiff across. See that whiff across? Sends them down back in if you need to get in there. It's not actually really smoking them, it's just kind of giving them a whiff. They'll also just react to the smell sometimes. But definitely when you go to close up your hives, you want to just give a nice couple puffs, okay, just to kind of push them down. This will make it so that you don't have a bunch of bees on the top of your boxes as you put your inner cover or you put your boxes back on top. So that just pushes them down so you don't squish and roll a bunch of bees. All right, so that is how you smoke your bees. Again, that's just a general technique, reason why we do it, things that we should use, tools we should have. Just remember, this is fire safety. You're in the Willamette Valley. Things get crisp in the summertime. Do make sure that when you're moving around, you know, around your yard, maybe have a bucket or a bucket with sand that you can put your smoker in. If you have a smoker like this is actually meant to hook on to the inside of a box. So I can show you real quick. This could just hook on right there, and that keeps your smoker right there. So that's another just another safety mechanism. But at the end of the day, when you are done smoking or done working your bees, and you're done with your smoker, you want to put a cork in it and put out the fire. If you notice that your smoker is going out throughout the day, often you can just open the lid and just puff it like this a little bit to keep it rolling. Always check and make sure that, you know, when you're about to smoke a hive, put your hand in front. You know, the smoke's obviously going to be warm, but you don't want it hot. If it's hot, put another piece of burlap or more material on top that will create a cooler smoke. Another useful thing for the smoke is if you get stung and you're someone like me who wears minimal PPE and you get stung, again, you could just smoke the area where you got stung, and that will, you know, the bees won't kind of come after that area where you've been sort of tagged. So anyways, make sure you put your smoker out. Have fun working your bees. Be gentle with them. Don't give them too much smoke while you're inspecting them, even if they are being a little bit nasty. That's going to probably make them a little bit nastier. But that's it. That's Andre here for the Lane County Beekeepers Association. A little tutorial on smoking your bees.